It is Saturday. They've announced the Oscars, and I watched the Council of Geeks ripping on one of the Oscar movies, and I decided to go through the list and see whether some of my theories on how the Oscars is run, at least for the past 35 years, it holds true. Yes, it totally does. Oh my goodness. And I'm not riffing on necessarily movies for being woke. I don't mind that. I like woke. Woke is cool. I don't mind the idea of a story about a message story. I like those. Star Trek is woke. Jesus was woke. Come on, totally. So it's all good. I'm not riffing on necessarily the movies for being that way. Just in case we don't get a lot of haters like we did for my review of the years ago of what was it? I reviewed the best picture movie. So a bunch of people got mad. Parasite. I reviewed that. People got mad. And I wasn't knocking that movie because it was Korean, but they thought it was being racist. I wasn't. No, I liked it. I was knocking the movie because Oscar was giving movies that don't deserve the Oscar, and I didn't think at first it was fine. Foreign film, it was fine. This year, they're completely ignoring identities. That doesn't really surprise me, but they really shouldn't. Short film. Oscar for short film should be identities. Short film, modern domestic short film, Jesse Earl, director, for short film. She should win that. Absolutely. And that's connected, of course, to the other ones. Yeah, it was win that. Because also we watched it. I'm not surprised that Dune Part 2 and Wicked are on there. And I'm not surprised that Oscar has gone in the direction of giving some movies that probably don't necessarily deserve to be on there just for political reasons, for within Hollywood politics. Hollywood politics is different than American politics. Hollywood politics is we like our optics, like Council of Geeks said. We'd like to go into Hollywood and the Oscars show and pat ourselves on the back for our ingenuity for being inclusive. So you get stuff like Precious back in the day. Nobody liked it. That movie was messed up. Why'd you like that movie? No, I don't want to see that. Or A Beautiful Mind was the same reason. See, in Precious, somebody gets raped. That's a big Oscar thing. It's raped. I want to see that. In A Beautiful Mind, somebody's a math head, but he's schizophrenic. He's insane. Ooh, yeah, they love the mental illness thing. That was made fun of brilliantly in the Tropic Thunder movie when they said you don't go full, never go full that way. It's not like I Am Sam. He's not going to get an Oscar. It's more like Forrest Gump. Yeah, and Radio and stuff. That's why Radio didn't win, because it was like he went full there, full tard. Yeah, one of the theories for 35 years, and it's held true fairly substantially. The Oscar people are old. They're 75 and older, the judges. They don't have an attention span that's longer than 15 minutes. They see a trailer, they think the movie's great. So we have a movie called, back in the day, we had some clever people, just about 8 years ago or so. The Shape of Water people, when they put that movie out, there was a Swamp Thing remake. They showed the Oscar judges only the scene where the creature goes into a realm where it's like ancient Hollywood. They liked that part and they said, okay, this movie deserves an Oscar. It did deserve an Oscar because it was a good Swamp Thing movie, but they showed them the right footage so that they would say, oh, this is great. Same thing with Silence of the Lambs in the 90s. They're all, let's just show them the good part where you got the lead acting crazy, show them that and give them the Oscar. They'll give an Oscar to a horror movie. There's a couple of horror movies on this list. But yeah, each and every one of these Oscar movies, with the exception of, I believe, Dune Part 2, came out in the fall between August and December. That is the norm for Oscar. They don't look at movies beyond that. And because we had a writer's strike, they can use it as an excuse, and a production strike, an actor strike. I'm not in SAG. I'm not in AFTRA, so I can say that. Um, they had a writer's strike, and so they had to fish through movies from the current period that they liked. Red Letter Media. I'm going to mention the Red Letter Media one here first because it's Red Letter Media. The substance. The substance of this list of these 4 or 5 movies that make no sense. The substance does deserve the Oscar for a nod for maybe special effects, maybe makeup, that kind of thing. Maybe probably not acting though, but it's being nominated. It's the one where the Hollywood people are old and they take a drug that makes them come out of their own skin as a young person, run around and do stuff, and then come back into their old body. Yeah, it's a really bizarre body horror movie. I'm surprised they noticed it. They probably just played them the old is young thing, and they probably just, oh, that's cool. But yeah, the Red Letter Media liked it, so they're listening to Red Letter Media, which is nice that they're listening to Red Letter. All right, The Substance. I wouldn't say it's Best Picture of the Year. No. My choices for Best Picture of the Year are already well known. I said Dune 1 and 2 for fantasy film, and Wicked Part 1 for musical film, musical adventure, fantasy, also fantasy a little too, musical, it's a different category. Animation is the Wild Robot with Best Picture, and Best Picture of the Year is the Wild Robot. Even though Flow is good, it's very good, and Transformers 1 is very good. No, anyway, so those are my choices. They're not even on the list. Neither is Identities. Identities should be on the list. So we start with the movies that are going to probably annoy some of the Netflix, Sony, and MGM, Amazon people, which is where they got some of these movies. We have another facet of this is also that movies that didn't make very much domestically and abroad are given Oscars as well, is that no one saw them. Ironically, the first one on this short list here, there are others, but we're just going to go with the main ones. A Complete Unknown. I think that's kind of an ironic title. Definitely ironic, in the sense that they will go after movies that are a complete unknown. They literally went there. So in this day and age, they went. And guess when this movie came out? It was December, Christmas Eve, and it was a Bob Dylan movie. That's something, I guess. But why wasn't this massively released? It did make overall about $59 million, but it only went $11 million domestically. It's a bomb. It didn't make any money. $59 million is a bomb. It tanked. No one went to see it. That's just saying, it's a bomb. Okay, next one. Next one is about evil priests, and it's called Conclave. I believe Red Letter Media also liked this movie. 6 million domestically, 31 million out there. Evil priests. October 24th, a little bit before Halloween, about a week before Halloween. And yeah, but Oscar Best Picture, really? That one, really? Evil priests, I guess they just like that idea, the evil priest. And then there's going to be the Michael Jackson movie, which will have a different kind of evil priest. The King of Pop. Well, that's later. That's next year. And yeah, I don't believe the rumors about the family thing that was debunked. About that. That's later. But there was a story that was debunked about a Campia show aired the story of freaking out over this family suing the Jackson estate. No, it didn't happen. It's fake. It's a fake story. That didn't happen. Why would they make a movie and then sue them before it comes out? Why not sue them during? Does that make sense? So we're not. It was fake. It was made up. He didn't know. He just reported. He should have checked though. He should have fact checked. So we have with Evil Priest though, Conclave. Best Picture really 6 million domestic, 31 million. It tanked. It utterly tanked. It wasn't in theaters for very long at all. 6 million is the okay. Nope, it tanked. It bombed. So we have bombs here. We have bombs that are Oscar noms. This is the one that, the next one is the one Council of Geeks complained about. Called Emilia Perez, a Netflix movie. About a drag trans actor in a movie about a drag trans actor person. I think the controversy is that it's pandering, I guess, in that the actor isn't playing the character right, playing it stereotypically or something. I think that's what they're complaining about. I haven't seen it. And then again, no one else has seen it. This movie has 0 local millions domestically. It had aired internationally, made about 10 million on Netflix. So it's 0 domestically because it's a Netflix show, and they don't. Oscar doesn't add it up. So I'm gonna guess if it's 10 million, then going Netflix and the backstory on Netflix and all that, it probably made 8 or 9 million over there at Netflix for them. Yeah. So people saw it, probably hate watched it, but for the wrong reasons. It isn't because there's a trans actor in it. It's because they didn't do it right. That's basically what they didn't. They didn't do it right. Some went wrong. In the translation, it went wrong. It's about an evil cartel apparently that has a cartel leader who becomes a cartel leader's daughter, I guess, who becomes a man who becomes a woman kind of thing going on. I think. Yeah. That just the idea of it being a cartel is problematic anyway, and messy. So yeah, they were just trying to be edgy and like, ooh, it's a movie about someone who's bad. There's a lot of movies about someone who's bad and cartel guys in here. A lot of those. Here's a. So I don't know. It just seemed like it's just a little icky. Yeah, it just didn't. Not because of the character, but because of the theme. They did it wrong. Yeah, they executed it wrong. Got the wrong message coming out. It's just confusing. That's kind of what, in a nutshell. Go watch the Council of Geeks thing for the whole detail on that. He did a whole essay. Go watch that. He'll tell you. They'll tell you all about it. Yeah, I'm not going to go into detail. The next one. By the way, August of 2024. So they're late fall. That's a little earlier. So it's late fall. But still, you Oscar guys wouldn't have even known about it if it wasn't controversial in some way and somebody wasn't complaining about it in some way. Then you wouldn't have even known that it was there at all. The next one is called I'm Still Here. Oh, incidentally, back to Complete Unknown. That title, Complete Unknown, was also the title of another movie about 10 years ago that had nothing to do with that guy. That's it. The Dylan. The next one, it was something else entirely. The I'm Still Here was not only the title of 2 other movies previously, it was the catchphrase of Neil Breen from the Red Letter Media. So there's a lot of Red Letter Media in here. They should bring Red Letter Media guys to the Oscars. They've got a bunch of their catchphrases in here. They should bring Neil Breen to the Oscars. That'd be hilarious. Neil Breen, I'm still here. That guy's bonkers. Yeah, so one of his movie titles has been stolen by an Oscar movie. Yeah, and that's kind of ironic considering the message of his twisted movies, which is like, corporations are bad. Oh, that's his message all the time. And he's a super hacker or something. He's not. But in this one, it's not about that, actually. It is about a Brazilian dictator, yet again, another dictator in Latin America thing. The theme here, we got Emilia one and the dictator. Not to be confused with the Brazil story, Starcrackers, the Starship Location story, which had nothing to do with that at all. But that would be that would be late 2024. But no, no, that didn't get nominated. No, this is not to be confused with that. So here we have, this movie came out in November, so it's one of those, and because it's late November. So we also have, it made $194,000 domestically. Why is this being nominated for an Oscar at all? $194,000. Yeah. 14 million internationally, but under under $2,000. It's a fan film for that. It shouldn't be on there. Really shouldn't be on there. And it really shouldn't be on there. Next we have Nickel Boys, which I'm sure somebody will complain about. Oh, how dare you make fun of the movie about the Florida guys and stuff. I'm not making fun of it. Actually, December 13th. I'm just saying it came out in the fall, and that's probably all I remember. And that it is about Floridian, Florida black culture. That's interesting. No, I'm not making fun of it. That's interesting. But it only made $54,000. Domestically made $1 million. Nobody went to see this movie. Nobody went to see it. It's probably good, but why is it getting an Oscar at all? Other than you guys want to pat yourselves on the back for ingenuity over there, an Oscar, and say like, oh, but this movie is about black culture. So we all of us white Oscar men are going to pat each other on the back with how awesome we are and woke. You're not awesome or woke. You're just old and you're white and you're probably cis and. And yeah, it's like you guys don't know what you're doing. There were a lot of other better black African movies. There've been a lot of them. There was the original Color Purple was awesome. The 12 Years a Slave, that movie was messed up, but yes, best picture that year. Absolutely. Stuff like that. Let's see what else is there's a bunch of them. There's Beloved was messed up, but that was better than Beloved. That was okay. All those dark, twisted, messed up movie, but it was okay. That was fine. I even liked that House Party movie from years ago. Dave Chappelle made. Don't like Dave Chappelle so much anymore, but that Block Party movie was interesting. That was a comedy that didn't get an Oscar. It got music that year. Yeah, so yeah, I'm okay with this movie. I just haven't heard of it. I don't know how they've heard of it. Okay. Floridian culture. Black Floridian culture. Okay. It's probably fine. But Oscar? Probably not. It isn't worthy. Fine. And the substance again. So yeah, that kind of concludes my little Oscar rant thing. All fall movies, fall to winter, all pretty much ignoring all the other ones. Was Inside Out 2 all that great? Well, Mark's Cards has seen most of Inside Out 2 and said it's okay, it's good, it's okay, but it wasn't Oscar worthy, so it wasn't put on. It wasn't Oscar. It was fine. It was acceptable. And no, Section 31 wouldn't be on the Oscar list either. At all. It would be 2025, but it wouldn't even be on. It wouldn't make the Razzie list next year either. But it wasn't that bad. It was bad, but it wasn't that bad. So yeah, you have your. Yeah, I'm sure some of these movies are fine, but they shouldn't have gotten Oscar noms because they are not only like Amazon, Sony Online, and Netflix movie. That's why they didn't have high domestic scores. But they shouldn't be nominated because they're those. They're not worthy of like theater releases. They're television essentially. Streaming is television essentially now. So it shouldn't be. They can have their own award show. They can have the Emmys. I think it's called. They can get an Emmy. That's fine. That makes more sense. They have that. The Emmys. The Emmy. Netflix should be. Yeah, Emmys. Yeah. Netflix movie is TV technically. But yeah, that they have their own thing. But yeah, this other movie getting 13 Oscars, the Perez movie, doesn't make any sense other than they're patting themselves on the back, saying, "Look at what we did. We're being nice to them by patting them on the back, patting ourselves on the back. How nice we are. Ah, we'll ignore that later, but for now, the Me Too movement must stay. Even though they let Cosby out and they almost let Weinstein out. So. It's like, no, now that that's another administration, that's kind of dead. It's unfortunate, but yeah, it's kind of done. So, yeah, it was a fad, unfortunately. Human rights for all genders, races, and people should be just inalienable human rights, and that should be the message. If that's what they're trying to get at with the story, the list, then fine. But those aren't Oscar-worthy movies. Those are just people, humanity, and all that. Inalienable human rights. So that type of thing. I don't know who's hosting the Oscars this year. It's not. It's one of the other comedians. I will not be attending the red carpet ceremony this year. I don't think so. I wonder where they're going to hold it. Half of Hollywood burned down and the Hollywood fire's going on. Yeah. So yeah, a lot of that area is messed up, but yeah, they're going to have to rebuild all of that. So, but the Scum and Villainy Cantina survived. I think it's still out there. So, but yeah, I haven't been to that, but that's the Kevin Smith haunt from the other story. It's not related. So yeah, there's our Oscar knobs. They're going with movies no one's ever heard of, including, ironically, The Complete Unknown, which probably would have got a better title if they called it the Bob Dylan movie. Probably should have done that. Was Oscars not beyond changing titles to make them make sense because they're popular at the time? The I Heart Huckabees movie coming out when Huckabee was very popular. Let's make a movie about this guy who was going to run for president and stuff, and he's a host at I Heart Huckabees movie. They literally, and ironically, this politician guy later on said, I didn't even like the movie that they named after me. He didn't like it. And then there's Assange County, which they named it. It's spelled differently, but they figured people would just say it similarly and remember it. The Julian Assange thing was a big deal, and so they're like, let's name it something that sounds like Assange, so because that's in the news, it's topical. We'll name the movie that, even though it has nothing to do with Julian Assange at all. But people will remember it because of the name. They did the same thing with Slumdog Millionaire. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? But it was Slumdog Millionaire and Slumdog together. That movie was on the bargain bin within 6 months. Nobody wanted to see it. There was another Oscar-winning Best Picture movie. Nobody really cared about it afterward. Yeah, so there's been some oddities out there, but it was popular though. I think that movie made money though, like There Will Be Blood and No Country for Old Men. Even though I didn't particularly like There Will Be Blood and No Country for Old Men, they did make money at the time, so they liked them. And there was the infamous Crash debacle. There was a movie called Crash, which was about race relations and the crash and stuff. But the original Crash was like years earlier, and it was about a cult that was doing weird stuff in the crashes and stuff. It was a completely different movie. But the oldsters only remembered the other one and figured, oh, this movie's getting the Oscar finally, because they changed the name to the other one. Of course, it doesn't work for certain movies. Somebody renamed their movie Bad Lieutenant to copy Bad Lieutenant from years earlier at one point, and that didn't get him an Oscar. Bad Lieutenant, that didn't work at all. Well, and the director of the original was like, what? This movie has nothing to do with that movie. It's not my movie at all. It was a gritty crime drama with this weird druggy guy in it. This new one's not anything to do with that. Ew, gritty crime drama. Ew. And movies that enter the lexicon that don't necessarily deserve it, like Pulp Fiction. Yeah, I love Pulp Fiction. It was an incoherent mess. Tarantino was all like, I didn't know it was out of... He actually was quoted as saying, didn't know it was out of order. Him and Rob Rodriguez were talking, and he's like, I didn't know it was out of order. He's that ADD that he can't make a movie in chronological order. Wow. And he likes feet. It's the thing with Tarantino. But he didn't do any movies this year. And yeah, there's been some strange. Yeah, of course. Yeah, the underlying message of Forrest Gump is don't get AIDS, and they completely missed over that, but it's in there if you ever look for it. The message of Good Will Hunting is, stay in school, kids, or whatever, something like that. Which was a Weinstein movie. Weinstein. Yeah, Harvey Weinstein. Yeah, so was Mallrats. That's why they can't make a Mallrats 2, because he owns rights to it. But yeah, so Oscar this year is once again falling along the story arc of relatively unknown movies from elsewhere because we didn't have any to choose from. They have the excuse of the writer's strike, but technically they do not. And sure, I'm sure the Floridian movie is fine, and the Dylan movie is fine, and the Substance movie is fine. But Oscar-worthy, probably not. The Substance. That idea doesn't even really make any sense. The only way that works is they're so stoned they think they're younger people coming out of their bodies. It's a metaphor. A metaphor. Yes. And it wouldn't work anyway. You can't split through someone's spine and come out through the back of them. It would make more sense for them to come out the front. Out the belly or something. Why the back? I don't know. But yeah, it's definitely strange. If you wanted a horror movie of the year, I guess that works. Body horror movie of the year. Sure, why not? But yeah, horror movie. Yeah, give it a category. Horror movie. Horror movie. There you go. The Substance horror movie. Fine. But I did not see it, so I did not put it in my... It wasn't even an official Claro Wars. I'm sure Calicat will ramble on about it later on in Fanime as well. No, maybe not. Well, let's see. We'll see whatever's relevant in May, because it probably won't be relevant anymore. At that point, it'll be on the bargain bin at Target.